that you're a god named Lono. And I wonder, did you give up religion for the same reason you gave up politics, because there's no money in it? Well, that got a laugh from him, but he quickly turned serious and said, no, I am Lono. Neville Drury writes in his book, The Visionary Human, Mystical Consciousness and Paranormal Perspectives, quote, in traditional societies, shamans are often known as masters of death. They have been defined by Mircea Eliade as ecstatics, capable of making a visionary journey from one plane of reality to another. By his own reckoning, Thompson had nearly died some 15 times, although, as we just heard, it was probably closer to 16 times. And each return from the journey, whether beaten by the Hells Angels or the Chicago cops, he had a story to tell. As Drury noted, quote, the shaman returns to earth consciousness with spiritual revelations. And in traditional shamanic societies, such revelations become part of the culture's accumulated wisdom teaching. Romantic poets, modernist writers, and shamans find a common ground in Daniel Pinchbeck's book, Study of Contemporary Shamanism, Breaking Open the Head. Quote, like tribal shamans, the artists saw themselves, in Ezra Pound's phrase, as the antennae of the race. In a secular culture, they were the ones who journeyed into the land of the dead, who crafted images of an elusive sublime, who went into ecstatic states of inspiration. Journalists such as Thompson, John Reed, Studs Terkel, Molly Ivins, and Ida Tarbell certainly qualify as the antennae of the race, reporting on the view from the other side. But unlike these more conventional journalists, Thompson's methods can be seen in a shamanic light. In virtually every article, he is in search of the nut of the story, and his journey generally involves some non-ordinary reality brought on by the systematic arrangement of the senses via chemical means, sleep deprivation, and unbridled paranoia during a deadline frenzy, or by raw amazement at the listless stupidity of normal life. When he returned from his wanderings into the savage heart of the American dream in Las Vegas, or survived a political campaign in the vicious business of presidential politics, he crafted tales of fear and loathing that illuminated, informed, and inspired his tribe, and entered into the cultural lexicon. Thompson's obscenity-laced texts led some readers to question his skill with language. In his reply to one appalled reader who canceled her subscription from Rolling Stone in a letter that said, profanity is a crutch for conversational cripples, Thompson said, words are just tools for a writer. When I write about Richard Nixon, I'll use all the tools I can get my hands on to make people like you think about why Richard Nixon was elected in a landslide in 1972. My primary idea when I sit down to write is to get the attention of people like you, and make you think. Having referred to Richard M. Nixon in the past as a cheap-eating little bastard and a criminal heap, in recent years, Thompson actually grew a bit wistful about his arch nemesis. In his last piece for Rolling Stone, he wrote, Nixon was a professional politician, and I despised everything he stood for. But if you're running for president against the evil Bush-Cheney gang, I would happily vote for him. He went on to predict a Kerry win and called George W. Bush a treacherous little freak, as well as a natural-born loser with a filthy rich daddy who pinned his son out to rich oil mongers. No other journalist in the world would have had the guts to say such a thing out loud, much less publish it in a mass circulation periodical. And then Hunter was like no other journalist in the world. One of Hunter's favorite musicians, Bob Dylan, saying, to live outside the law, you must be honest. I always figured I would live on the margins of society, part of a very small art law segment, Thompson wrote in his 2003 book, Kingdom of Fear. I have never been approved by any majority. Most people assume it's difficult to live this way, and they're right. They're still trying to lock me up all the time. I've been very careful about urging people who cannot live outside the law to throw off the traces and run them up. Some are not made for the outlaw life. His novel approach to writing, dubbed outlaw journalism, or new journalism, or his own preferred Gonzo Journalism, was an instinctual response to what he saw as the need to get inside of a story and tell it from the perspective of radical subjectivity. Thompson told writer P.J. O'Rourke in a 1987 interview for Rolling Stone magazine's 20th anniversary that he knew from the time he was 16 he wanted to write. That was all that interested me. Actually, learning interested me. Learning still does. That's the main thing about journalism. It allows you to keep learning and get paid for it. It was a long, strange trip from his hometown here in Louisville to his fortified compound near Aspen, Colorado, fueled by almost any and every legal and illegal substance a boy or man could place his hands on. An act of belligerence on his part got him into the armed forces. When given the choice after a series of youthful indiscretions, he opted for military service rather than jail. He later refused to accept a security clearance for the Air Force on the grounds that he didn't consider himself a good security risk. Because I disagreed strongly with the slogan, "My country right or wrong." His punishment? I was passed over for promotion and placed in a job as sports editor of a base newspaper in the Gulf Coast of Florida. Well, there was no turning back. In that most precarious of careers, freelance writing, Thompson spent the next 40-plus years sharing his careening life up close and personal during a time of unprecedented transformation in the country's political landscape. Through the post-JFK assassination America into the rice paddies of Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos, the police riot of the '68 Chicago Democratic National Convention, the dark and venal Nixon years and his subsequent humiliating departure from the White House, the hopeful Carter years when the country came close.
We so happy we alive, we together can survive. Stop the bullshit, stop the lies, now's the time to legalize. Tell me brother, tell me true, what the hell we gonna do? Remember the days we saw purple haze. 1 and 1 is 3. Hey, hey, baby, what you do to me? We so happy, we alive, we together can survive. Mother Nature, heaven sent, don't belong to government. Hey there sister, what's the plan? Do you really understand? Remember the days we saw purple haze. 1 and 1 is 3. Hey, hey, baby, what you do to me? We so happy, we alive, we together can survive. Stop the bullshit, stop the lies, now's the time to legalize. Half the world up in smoke, where on earth can we take the tug? Remember the days we saw purple haze. 1 and 1 is 3. Hey, hey, baby, what you do to me? Human nature full and free modifies reality. Open up, inner flower, peace and love, inner power. Open up, inner flower, peace and love, inner power. Remember the days we saw purple haze. 1 and 1 is 3. Hey, hey, baby, what you do to me?